Ah, the Arctic, a charming paradise where temperatures are so cold, even your soul would freeze if it dared to peek out. Welcome to the magical moment of a polar bear's birth. Forget cozy hospitals or warm nurseries. This little bundle of joy is brought into the world in a quaint, snow-covered den, lovingly crafted by its mother. And by lovingly, I mean she dug a hole in the ground and called it a day. Behold, the newborn polar bear, weighing in at a whopping 1 pound. Yes, that's right, 1 whole pound. It's basically a furry burrito with legs. But don't let that fool you. This pint-sized predator is destined to be the king of the Arctic. Well, assuming it survives the next few months of frostbite, hunger, and the occasional curious predator sniffing around. Now you might think, oh, it must be so warm and cozy in that den. Spoiler alert, it's not. The temperature in this 5-star accommodation is just slightly above freezing. But hey, at least it's not directly in the wind, right? Silver linings. Mother Bear here has the daunting task of keeping this fragile little popsicle alive. And how does she do it? By not eating for months. Yes, you heard that right. While humans complain about skipping breakfast, this mama bear goes on a diet that would make any fitness guru proud. No food for up to 8 months. Why? So she can provide her cub with the high-fat milk it needs to grow. Talk about dedication. Or is it desperation? Hard to tell. And let's not forget the charming weather, blizzards, sub-zero temperatures, and the ever-present risk of getting buried alive in snow. It's like nature's way of saying, welcome to the world. Now, try not to die. As our little hero grows, it faces the next thrilling challenge, learning to walk on ice. Picture this, tiny, wobbly legs, an unsteady gait, and a surface that's as slippery as an oiled-up skating rink. It's like a slapstick comedy, but with higher stakes. One wrong step, and it's face first into the snow. Again, and again, and again. Finally, after a few months of this delightful routine, it's time for the big debut. Mother bear and cub step out into the vast, unforgiving Arctic wilderness. What awaits them? Miles of ice, the occasional seal, and the ever-looming threat of starvation. But hey, no pressure, right? Just your typical walk in the park, if the park were a frozen wasteland with a side of doom. And thus begins the epic journey of our polar bear cub. Born into a world that's cold, harsh, and entirely unforgiving. But don't worry, it's not all bad. There's at least a 50% chance it'll make it to adulthood. Those are pretty good odds if you're a gambler. For more Arctic adventures where survival is just another day at the office. Ah, the joys of growing up. Our little polar bear is now a few months old, and life has graciously transitioned from barely surviving, but bigger. With every clumsy step, it's clear that walking on ice is as natural to this cub as ballet is to a brick. But don't worry, it's all part of the majestic, perfectly designed survival process. Evolution knows best, right? Look at that grace, that poise. It's like watching a newborn giraffe attempt figure skating. Every stumble is a learning opportunity, or so the cub's survival instincts would have it believe. The only thing standing between it and total humiliation is, oh wait, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now let's talk about food. The Arctic is just brimming with delicious options, like ice, and more ice. But occasionally, there's a seal if you're lucky. So this cub has to master the fine art of hunting. Spoiler, it's not going well. Ah yes, the stealth of a ninja and the subtlety of a foghorn. Sneaking up on a seal is no small feat when your bright white fur sticks out like a sore thumb against the icy blue backdrop. It's almost as if nature decided to play a little prank on this apex predator. Blend in? Nah, let's make it glow instead. And let's not forget the refreshing Arctic swim. Nothing says survival like an impromptu dip in freezing water, followed by the delightful experience of trying to dry off in sub-zero temperatures. Truly, this is the stuff of childhood memories. As our young polar bear grows, it also learns about the many friends it might make, or rather, the many creatures that might want to make it into a snack. Enter the Arctic's elite list of predators, wolves, orcas, and occasionally other polar bears. Because nothing says family like a little intraspecies cannibalism. Oh look, wolves! Such friendly, misunderstood creatures. They're not here to play. They're here to teach our cub a valuable lesson in cardio. Because in the Arctic, the rule is simple. You don't have to be the fastest, just faster than the next polar bear. Survival of the fittest, or in this case, survival of the least clumsy. And what about those survival instincts? Nature has equipped this cub with everything it needs to succeed, except for balance, coordination, and a sense of timing. But it does have a killer instinct, buried somewhere under layers of fluff and awkwardness. Oh, so close. You almost had that. Snow. But hey, practice makes perfect. Or in this case, practice makes for an endless blooper reel of fails. The Arctic weather, ever so accommodating. Blizzards are the perfect backdrop for bonding. If by bonding, you mean desperately clinging to the hope of finding shelter before freezing into a popsicle. It's almost like nature is running a cosmic hazing ritual, complete with freezing winds and zero visibility. But through all the slip-ups, the falls, and the near-death experiences, our little cub persists. It's a testament to the sheer willpower, or perhaps sheer stubbornness of the polar bear. Sure, it's a rough life, filled with constant danger and absurd challenges, but hey, at least it builds character. Or frostbite, one of the two. And so, as our cub grows into a slightly more competent version of itself, we can only marvel at the sheer resilience it takes to survive in this icy hellscape. It's a life filled with peril, hardship, and the occasional slapstick comedy routine. But hey, at least it's never boring. So here's to you, little polar bear. You may be awkward, you may be clumsy, but you're out there giving it your all. And isn't that what life's all about? Adulthood. Our polar bear has finally reached the pinnacle of its existence. No more awkward tumbles, no more tiny cub struggles, just a fully grown, 1,200-pound apex predator ready to take on the world. And by take on the world, I mean continue the endless quest for food, shelter, and survival. Because in the Arctic, adulthood doesn't mean the struggles end. It just means you get bigger problems. Now that it's all grown up, hunting should be a breeze, right? Wrong. Remember those elusive seals? They've only gotten trickier. It's like they've taken advanced courses in avoiding polar bears 101. So now, our majestic beast spends its days patiently waiting by breathing holes, hoping for a meal to pop up. Hours of standing still in freezing temperatures, truly the pinnacle of excitement. Oh, so close. Well, not really. But hey, no biggie. There's always another seal, somewhere. Maybe a few miles away. Just a casual jog across an icy wasteland, no big deal. Who needs cardio equipment when you have endless tundra? And then there's the delightful weather. Snowstorms, blizzards, and the occasional sunny day that feels like a balmy -20 degrees. Who needs tropical beaches when you have the thrill of being pelted by ice shards every other day? It's nature's way of keeping things interesting. But wait, it's not just about hunting and weather. Now, our bear has to deal with the social scene, or lack thereof. Meeting another polar bear? It's either a chance for a mate or a territorial showdown. Because nothing says adult life like fending off competitors for the best chunk of ice. Networking in the Arctic is cutthroat, literally. And let's not forget the endless buffet of nothing. In the summer, when the ice melts, food becomes even scarcer. Our bear might wander hundreds of miles in search of a meal, only to find more ice. It's like living in a grocery store that only stocks empty shelves. Delightful. But don't worry, this is all totally normal. This is just how life goes for a polar bear. From cubhood to adulthood, it's a nonstop cycle of survival. Sure, our bear is bigger, stronger, and slightly more experienced, but the challenges? They've just evolved into bigger, colder, and hungrier versions of themselves. So here we are at the end of this incredible journey. Our polar bear has grown up, adapted, and faced every challenge nature has thrown its way. And what's next? More of the same, of course. Because in the Arctic, there's no such thing as easy. It's a life of constant struggle, sprinkled with occasional wins and a whole lot of ice. But hey, isn't that what life's all about? Endless challenges, fleeting moments of triumph, and the unshakable determination to keep going. So here's to you, polar bear. You've mastered the art of surviving the unsurvivable. And as you march off into the frozen sunset, just remember, there's always another seal, another storm, and another day in this charming Arctic paradise. Stay frosty.